Hello and welcome to the second video on GCSE, GCE, O-levels and IGCSE Economics. Right, as I mentioned in my previous video that the Unit 1 of Economics, I have divided this into three different topics. So the Unit 1 is all about basics of economics, the basic economic concepts. So of that, first we discussed different concepts in economics like scarcity, choice, opportunity cost, and various other things. And now we are going to discuss about production possibility curve, right? So what is this production possibility curve? Actually, economics is a very interesting subject. It's rather than being a theory subject, it is more of a practical subject because when you are done with your economics syllabus at the exam, you're not supposed to, memorize everything like parrots and, write down what you have memorized in the books, but rather you are supposed to find solutions for economic problems that the world faces. So production possibility curve is a beginning for such practical aspect of economics because it includes a curve, right? Okay, so what is this PPC? First of all, it's a curve. And what kind of a curve is this? This curve shows possibility. That means what it is possible production to produce. So that means now this is a curve which shows what it is possible for a country, for an economy to produce with the available resources. We call it PPC or PPF, production possibility curve, production possibility frontier, or production boundary, whatever the name it is called. It simply tries to mean it's a curve that shows with the available resources. That means now we have already discussed what is the meaning of resources. We have said resources are those material or humans or factors of production by using which we make other goods. So the resources are, we know, limited in supply and it is spread between different geographical region in the world in some way. So with, let's say, a particular country, if you take, with a given land area that country has, that's a land, one resource. Second, with the given amount of working population in that country, that's another resource. With the amount of capital like buildings, equipment, money, and all that. That means with the amount of all of these resources that is currently there in that country, what is the maximum output they can produce? What's the maximum output which is possible to produce? That's what is meant by the production possibility curve. The curve shows that. So now actually, to make things easier, what we do is actually we just consider that this country can produce only two goods. It's just an imagination that we make. That the country can produce only two goods with the available resources. And that also in case if they are fully using. So this doesn't mean it is the actual production, but the possible production. So if you look at this example, you can see, now let's say, for example, a country can produce either capital goods like machines, consumer goods, let's say like chocolate. So machine or chocolate. Now this country with the available land, available capital and available working population, it can either produce 5,000 units of capital goods, machines. Then if it does that, it cannot produce any single units of consumer goods. That's a possibility. Because if the country is going to use all the resources to produce capital goods only, then it can produce only 5,000 units of capital goods. But on the other hand, if the country doesn't want to produce any capital goods, all the resources they want to use in the production of consumer goods, then they can produce about 80,000 units of consumer goods, 80,000 units of chocolate, let's say. Or else the country even has other combinations. That is, sacrifice some of the capital goods, 800 capital goods, and produce capital goods only machines, just 4,200 machines, then the country can produce 20,000 units of consumer goods, and so on, like you see in this table. So these are different combinations of two products, capital and consumer goods, that this country can produce, you know, the maximum with the resource. They cannot produce more than this. And also, this is only the possibility. It doesn't mean that actually they are producing this only. So when you show this on a diagram, it will be like this. This is PPC. This curve is a production possibility curve. So this means that a country, if it puts its fullest, its maximum effort, its maximum resources the country is using, then the country can produce a maximum of any output anywhere on this curve, right? So that's what we mean by production possibility curve, right? Now let's discuss shifts of PPC, right? That means production possibility curve of a country can move out or move in, shift out or shift in due to several reasons. Now let's say, for example, currently this is the production possibility curve of this particular country. The country can produce X or Y units, products, whatever the number of units that is given. So this is the maximum boundary the country can produce. But let's say, for example, for some reason, let's imagine that this country manages to find out more resource, because this boundary says with the existing resources, this is what the country can produce. What the country has, it can produce only this much. But in case if the country manages to find more resource, let's say, for example, there was petrol never existing in this country, but all of a sudden the country had found out that they have petroleum crude oil reserves. So when they have crude oil reserves there, that means they have one more resource. So when they have one more resource, now the country can produce more than what they were able to produce before. So that's something that results in their ability to produce to increase. That means their production possibility curve to shift outwards. This is what we mean by an outward shift of PPC. That is, when a country's ability to produce increases, maybe because of improvement in productivity of labor or invention of new resources or more resources, or improvement in technology, because all of these things will lead to economic growth, resulting in the country to be able to produce more goods, right? Next, let's talk about an inward shift of PPC. That means, as you can see here in this diagram, let's say at the moment, this is the PPC of this particular country. The country can produce anywhere up to this boundary with the resources they have. But let's imagine suddenly, now this happened, like, for example, all those countries were affected by tsunami in 2004. For example, Indonesia is one of the countries where what happened was they lost a lot of human life. They lost buildings, equipment, machines, factories. So when all of those resources are lost, when resources that are available falls in quantity, then the ability to produce also decreases. They were able to produce this much before, but now they are not in a position to produce the same quantity. So that results in an inward shift of PPC. So an inward shift of PPC can occur maybe due to destruction of resources because of a natural disaster, or because of a war or an internal conflict. Or it can also happen because of emigration, that is, workers leaving permanently out of this country to other countries. So when workers leave, workers are one of the most important resource or factors of production. So the ability to produce will fall because of that, right? Now let's come to the last point here, last discussion related to PPC, which is different points on production possibility curve, right? What's that is? As you can see, this is the production possibility curve of a country where this is one point the country can produce, point X. At point X, what we see is that the country can produce anywhere on the curve. What if actually they are producing the same units? So if they are actually producing anywhere on the curve, either here, 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 or here, here, anywhere on the curve, if they are producing, we call it full efficiency or full employment. That means this country is perfect. It can produce any point on the curve, and actually it is also producing on the same curve. So that's the actual output. That's a possible output. So the country is fully efficient. But if the country is not producing on this curve, somewhere inside it produces at a point Y, let's say, that means the country can produce on the curve, but it is producing less than what they are capable of producing. So they are inefficient or unemployed. But sometimes there is an unachievable point or unattainable point. That means this is the level of output you cannot produce at the moment with the available resource. You can see the 2 points like this. So let's imagine if the actual production is at Y, that means the country can produce anywhere on the border of the PPC, but it is only producing at output Y at a point inside. So the country is unemployed or inefficient. And if the country wants to produce at point Z, that is not going to work. It's an impossible point, unachievable point, because with the resources we currently have, we only can produce anywhere on the curve. But this may be possible in the future if there was a shift of PPC, because of, like we earlier saw, some points which results in an outward shift. But if that happens, then the whole PPC itself will move to this level. Right. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson for today. This is the second topic of Unit 1, and I'll see you with the next economics video, which is the third part of Economics Unit 1. Okay. All the best. Enjoy.